Welcome to the Daughter Arise channel. My name is Yvonne, and this channel is all about bringing you content surrounding childhood sexual abuse. On this channel, I share things surrounding my story, things I found helpful, hopeful, things that I found difficult, things that I found encouraging in hopes of encouraging other survivors. Also, on this channel, I share news stories and add commentary to these news stories. And I also, on this channel, do interviews with other survivors and events to raise awareness about how child sexual abuse affects lives. So if this is the type of content you're looking for, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. And also, if you like the content, hit the like button. So today's story is about the Rochdale grooming gang, in particular, two of the members who are facing deportation back to Pakistan. A Rochdale grooming gang member who got a girl pregnant and trafficked a 15-year-old said, "We have not committed that big a crime," and said it would be a breach of his human rights to be sent back to Pakistan. Adil Khan and Qari Abdul Raf, 52, have been told they are to be deported from the UK for the public good after both were part of a notorious gang convicted of a catalogue of serious sex offences against young girls. The pair are appealing against a deportation order served last July. Khan told an immigration tribunal hearing today, "We have not committed that big a crime." He claims to have renounced his Pakistani citizenship, which would make him stateless and would be a bar to his deportation. Khan got a 13-year-old girl pregnant but denied he was the father, then met another girl, 15, and trafficked her to others using violence when she complained. He was sentenced to 8 years in 2012 and released on licence 4 years later. At an immigration tribunal hearing on Tuesday in London, Khan complained about the press coverage of the case. He said, "The journalists have made our lives a living hell. We are not that big a criminal. We have not committed that big a crime. I'm innocent. I'm not committing any crime. The journalists made us out to be criminals." Khan, Raf, and two others were among 9 Asian men convicted of sex offences against vulnerable girls in 2012. For 2 years, from early 2008, girls as young as 12 were piled with alcohol and drugs and gang raped in rooms above takeaway shops and ferried to different flats in taxis where cash was paid to use the girls. Police said as many as 47 girls were groomed. Khan and Raf were among 4 of the gang with dual UK Pakistani citizenship, so liable to be stripped of UK citizenship and deported, after then Home Secretary Theresa May ruled it would be conducive to the public good to deprive the 4 of the right to remain in the UK. The pair, along with another man, Abdulaziz, then fought and lost a long battle against the deportation order, using a final Court of Appeal ruling in 2018. But the failure to deport any of the 4, almost a decade after their conviction, has heaped public criticism on a number of Home Secretaries and led to anger in Rochdale, where the victims were living alongside their tormentors. In April this year, even Raf admitted that he was surprised there had not been any move to get him out of Britain. Girl A, the main victim of the grooming gang, said it is a disgrace that the government had failed to act and called for an explanation from the Home Secretary. Girl A, who is now 28, said, "Knowing that had been done would have been a huge help for all of us in trying to rebuild our lives. But instead, we are still haunted by the paedophiles who raped and trafficked us. Every day we run the risk of bumping into them." So, as you just heard, absolutely disgraceful. The fact that these men are still allowed to remain in this country after a ruling was made for them to be deported is beyond belief. I did a review on the 3 girls story a few years ago, and I'll leave a link to it at the top of this video. But their story was really sad and troubling because a lot of these young girls were brought up in kids' homes, in children's homes, or in homes where there was a lot of dysfunction. So they weren't really monitored and their activity wasn't really noticed by a lot of other people around them. The reason why Adil Khan was one of the main ones that got caught was because the girl had an abortion, and the coroner and I think the people that deal with kind of the forensics and stuff managed to get hold of the unborn fetus and did, I think, like DNA on it. And it was found that obviously this man had indeed got this girl pregnant. It was a really big case in the news, and there was a lot of criticism for Rochdale Council in particular, because the reason why this gang were allowed to get away with what they were doing for so long was because of political correctness. No one wanted to address the elephant in the room, the fact that there were Asian men doing this thing in this town. No one wanted to take it on. No one wanted to face the reality of the fact of what they were doing. And, they were allowed to get away with things for a very long time. And there were a lot of repercussions in the aftermath of that as well. because it was a huge scandal that, as I mentioned, 47 girls, even more than that, were groomed by this gang. It's really troubling, it seems, especially in the case of Adil Khan, who's quite vocal about saying that, it's not that big of a crime, is that their sentences actually have really taught them nothing. And he's thinking, and I'm not sure about the other guy because we haven't really heard much what he's got to say, but it seems that their thinking is still the same. They are dangerous, and I think that they should be deported. But the only problem with that is that unfortunately they're going to land on another doorstep, being in their own country, in Pakistan, and probably do the same thing to the girls over there because he says it's not that big a deal. He says that, it's not a crime what they did. It's absolutely shocking that he still thinks like that. Time in prison has taught him nothing, and he's so stupid anyway to go in front of a immigration tribunal who's deciding his fate about whether he can stay in this country or not, to tell them it's not that big a deal and that they're innocent when he and his grooming gang were convicted of this crime. Now, I don't know really what's going to happen here because it seems that it's been going on for a long time. I really hope that this Home Secretary Priti Patel does act upon the order that was already in place to deport them and send them back to that country. But I do believe also as well there needs to be some kind of monitoring or something over there to monitor them when they get back over there, that they don't go and commit the same crimes that they were convicted of over here. But I just thought I'd bring you that story. I'll leave a link to it in the description box. Take care.